Velkommen og god dag alle sammen. This video we're going to be looking at Odin's 10th spell in his Havamal spells, titled Ljodatal, in the section Ljodatal of Havamal. So if you haven't watched the intro, you can go ahead and do that. I'll put the link in the description down there. But to go over it quickly, just to tell you what we're doing, Odin mentions 18 spells in Havamal. Havamal is the book of ethics and Norse paganism, basically, but it's not just a book of ethics. At the end of the book, there's a section that we call Ljodatal, and in this section, Odin mentions that he knows how to do 18 spells, 18 actual spells. Now, he doesn't tell us what they are or how to do them. He just tells us that he knows how to do them. So most people think these are lost, but if we look at the Scandinavian magic books from later on in history, we can actually come up with a pretty good idea of what these spells might have been. So here we go. We're looking at Odin's spell number 10 from Havamal. And as usual, I'll put it up here in Old Norse, and I'll read in English. For the 10th I know, if I see troll wives sporting in air, I can so operate that they will forsake their own forms and their own minds. So this one, a bit of a difficult translation, not completely clear, but it's, of course, a lot of people translate these in so many different ways. There's, basically it means that you would be able to confuse a spell sender. If it's, some people translate this as a witch riding a broom, as a troll's wife riding a broom, and it was mainly believed that people didn't believe that witches actually flow around on brooms like we see in the movies. It was mainly believed back then that if they said that a witch was riding around on her broom, it was meaning that she was out late at night or up late at night casting spells or curses. We have this in a bunch of sources, so most people didn't believe that witches rode around on brooms and defying the laws of physics, of course, but they believed that she was maybe up late casting some sort of spell. So we have a few charms this could be. We're looking in Scandinavian magic books from later on in time, and seeing if we can find any spells in there to counteract witchcraft or confuse. Specifically, as Odin says, he knows a spell to confuse the sender, confuse the spell sender, make him lost, whatever. And we don't have a lot of ones like this. We see a lot of ones for protection against magic. You can see my video that I made just 3 or 4 videos ago in this series about spells that the Norse believed would protect you from magic and even reverse magic, send it back to the sender. But this spell that Odin mentions in Charm 10 specifically says that he knows how to confuse the spell sender. He knows how to make them lost. He makes them know how to lose their mind. And we don't really find anything from Scandinavian magic books that show that, unfortunately. So this one might be lost. We do find a couple things, though, and these were kind of herbal potions, actually, and a couple magic books in Sweden in the 1800s. You could use a couple things to make someone feel confused or lost or lose their mind for a little bit. And that was 2 herbs specifically that were mentioned in these magic books in the 1800s, and that was vildgräs or trollbär. And I'll put pictures of them up here. So literally translated, it means wild grass or troll berries. So troll berries, basically translated, it means witchcraft berries or sorcerer berries, something like that. And vildgräs means wild grass, basically. And if you say it's not translated directly, it's vill is a bit different meaning in the Scandinavian languages. If you say "gå sig vill," it means get lost in the forest somewhere or wherever. Get lost wherever you're going. But in this spell, the Odin specifically mentions a song, so these could have some link to it, as I mentioned in other videos. If we see any kind of herbal, potions or using herbs somehow to cast a spell or something like that, that I believe is a pretty good chance that it was pagan and used earlier on in Norse pagan times. When Christianity came, they probably were not doing a whole lot more discovering of the native plants in the area. People came, more disconnected from nature as Christianity came into Scandinavia, not more connected. So I think it's my belief, if anything that we find in the magic books that involve some kind of herbal potions using the native plants, then that's a pretty good chance that that's pagan there. So this is what you could do. You could use vildgress or trillbær, and you could either put it in the road somewhere where you knew that person was going to be walking, and if they step over it, they would be confused and they'd lose their mind for a bit. Or you could also, if you could, put it in their drink. Don't do that, please. I wouldn't recommend trying these out, because these herbs can be toxic, but this could very well be what Odin was mentioning in his 10th charm from Havamal. Only difference is he could have maybe used these herbs in pagan times, almost 1,000 years before they were recorded, but he would have had a song to go with it. He would have sung a song, because he specifically says that. And we see from other sources in European magic, especially Northern European magic, if you used some sort of herbal ingredients to cast a spell or something like that, it usually comes with an incantation or a song of some sort. Take Odin's 9 herbs charm, for example, that we find in an old English text. That's a good one to compare to. He basically sings a song about 9 herbs, and kind of guides you through what herbs you need to do with a song. So this one probably would have been the same. I believe that this one could be it. If you knew a witch was wandering around at night casting spells, you could put some vildgress or trillbær in her way, so she steps over it somehow, and then she would be confused and she would lose her mind for a bit. So that's about it for this video. That's the best we've got. See you next time.